Hi everyone, it's Mrs. Caffiero, and today I'm going to talk you through the Lewis and Clark Expedition Journaling Project. This project is going to start today, which is Tuesday, March 9th, and it is going to be due on Friday, March 12th. So you will have at least 3 solid days to work on this project before it is due. So the objective is that students will create a narrative account of the Lewis and Clark expedition through a written journal of the events, places, and people that they encountered on their historical journey. The students will create a journal from the perspective of Meriwether Lewis, William Clark, York, Sacagawea, which requires extra research and writing, or as another crew member on their journey west from May 1804 to September 1806. This journal is documentation to report to President Thomas Jefferson, who has sent them on this extraordinary journey. You will use your notes from the video that you watched. If you need to go back to the video, the link is available in Google Classroom. So you are going to write a first-person narrative, first-person account of the events below, which we'll go over in a second, from the perspective of one of the people listed. You can either be Lewis, Clark, York, Sacagawea, which again will require extra research and writing, or as any other crew member on the journey. Now, you will have to create a journal based on the listed scenarios. So I'm going to go through each of these 6 scenarios, and please keep in mind that you have to include a journal entry for each of these scenarios. If you're writing from the perspective of Sacagawea, you will have extra entries included. So the first entry is setting out from St. Louis and traveling along the Missouri River. You must include facts about supplies taken and the crew that traveled with them. The second event, the violent encounter with the Teton Sioux Indians. Number 3, the meeting, the Mandan Indian tribe. Include the meeting and details about Sacagawea. Number 4, York and his encounter with the grizzly bear. In the video, it did talk about an encounter with a grizzly bear. This is going to be more fictional with a little bit of fact sprinkled in, because we know there was an encounter with a grizzly bear, but from the perspective of one of the people, or York himself, you get to actually come up with the story itself. Number 5, trading of horses and food with the Shoshone Indians. And number 6, finally reaching the Pacific Ocean. Students will write a journal entry for each of the listed scenarios. Each entry will be based on fact, but the writer is expected to add creative details to enhance your writing. Include historical fiction, meaning it could have happened. Do not plagiarize your work. Put everything into your own words. Now, there are a couple rules that you need to follow. 1, each entry is to be 6 to 8 sentences in length. Each entry is to be dated. 3, project must include a map of the journey. This can be drawn or found on the internet. Please give credit to the site that you pulled the picture from. 4, the project should include a cover sheet, the first page, like a book, or a title slide if you're using PowerPoint. The cover sheet or title slide should include your title, pictures, anything else you want to include, but be creative. Number 5, the student's name and class period should be included in the title of the document. This means that whenever you go to save your document and you get to choose how you name it, you must include your name, first and last, and the class period that you are in order for me to be able to grade it properly. Now, I'm going to scroll down to the second page, and here is an example of how to do this. Now, this is just a guide on how to begin. You cannot use this example in your project. If you do, you will get points taken off. So you can see it's clearly dated May 14th, 1804, and the entry reads, "We have just left St. Louis on a sunny morning and are traveling up the Missouri River. There is a sense of excitement among the men, wondering what we will encounter. I have been given specific instructions by President Jefferson to find a waterway across the continent, document plants, animals, and landscape to make friends with the Native Americans, and to draw accurate maps. I am hopeful that we will be able to meet all of these goals. I have the assistance of my good friend William Clark and his slave York, along with 40 able men to help me find a route to the Pacific Ocean." Written by Meriwether Lewis. Now, keep in mind that this is just a beginning point of how you can possibly start your writing. Now, this is obviously their first entry from when they first leave in May of 1804, and it would continue with each scenario after that. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is the rubric. So this is how you're going to be graded. So there are some certain requirements that you have to meet. The first one at the top, it says correct format of title page and back cover. Excuse me. This means that your title page, meaning the first page in your document, or your title slide is done correctly, and that your name and period are in the title document. All 6 scenarios are addressed in chronological order. Each entry is 6 to 8 sentences in length and is dated. Creative original journal entries. Project includes map of journey. Now, for each of these, you can see that there are 3 possible ways you can be graded. Extremely evident would grant you the highest number of points for each category. Fairly evident would grant you the middle ground for each category, and not evident is the lowest amount possible. Now, if it's simply not included whatsoever, then you would receive 0 points, which is why it says 0 to 15, 0 to 5, 0 to 9. It depends on the topic. All of this added up, if you get the full number of points for each category, that would give you 100 points. So please keep this in mind as you're doing your project, so you are completely aware of how you're going to be graded. Now, remember that you are going to use the notes from the video that you watched last week. You want to make sure that you are including good, detailed, factual information, but you want to make your writing interesting, so you can add the historical fiction, meaning it could have happened. It's likely to have happened, but we don't actually have record of it. Please don't include anything that would not have happened whatsoever, such as they found a unicorn or they found a route to Africa, because we know that didn't happen. So if you have any questions about this project, please let me know via email and I will answer the questions as quickly as I can. Keep in mind that this is supposed to be a project for the entire week. It is due on Friday at 11:59 p.m. It is your final grade for this quarter. So please make sure that you are taking your time and you are doing a good job on this project. It is going to be a test grade.